Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday. This is Friday the 17th. Um, this is Gabe Velazquez with transparenttrading We, had stocks kind of just meandering in front of the presidential inauguration on Monday. We're going to have the day off there and then pick up on Tuesday. It's going to be interesting coming in. So again, subscribe to the newsletter. I have a class coming up on Tuesday. Well, it's going to be apropos. We got earnings coming out starting, we have already had some bank earnings and so forth. Those stocks haven't reacted, but, we've got some tech stocks coming up and so forth. Let's get right into the charts. Really, the standout today was Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is the ultimate Trump trade, I guess you would call it, right? The announcement that they're going to start stockpiling or they're going to prioritize Bitcoin did push Bitcoin higher. However, again, we still more or less are in a range. I believe we're probably going to take that high out in Bitcoin futures and Bitcoin and probably maybe have another one of these blow off type of moves here. This has been happening, but I do suspect we are at least going to try another high. Whether we get up to 110, obviously at all-time highs, you just never know. But it'll be interesting to see if we actually have a true breakout where we actually have this thing move to 115 or 120, or it's going to be another one of these like we did here, where it was a false breakout and then we came all the way back down to 90. So that's going to be interesting. A lot of the good news clearly is already priced into Bitcoin. And, again, we talk about these other kind of proxy stocks, like in particular, Coinbase and MicroStrategy, MSTR. That's the big one, and that still hasn't recovered. I mean, it's hugely volatile. It came down to this gap here at 300, and I mean, it's been these swings are crazy on the stock, but still hasn't recovered. So this may be kind of your canary in the coal mine here, with regards to that. If you do have the stomach to trade this, obviously this is something to look at as a proxy for Bitcoin. But in any event, all the other markets, really, the Nasdaq, just again, kind of just churning sideways here. Still not out of the woods with regards to the sequence of lower highs. Apple got hit hard yesterday, so it's still a mixed bag in technology. I do believe that if can't get above that high, I think we're going to roll over again in the Nasdaq and possibly the S&P. The S&P looks a little bit better. It's a broader index. Could in fact make a new high and then pull back. But all in all, very rangy, very whippy kind of action in the overall averages. The one kind of sleeper, I think, is going to be the Russell. I think if rates come down, we could get another all-time high in the Russell. You can see it's at resistance. And then pretty much rates, they've come off a little bit, but nothing dramatic. On the 10-year, the price of the 10-year is sitting right at a major support area on a weekly. If you take a look at the weekly, it's sitting right at a major support area here at 107, and it can't get above 110. So it's basically we got to get above 109.5 on the price of the 10-year for this to be a meaningful reversal of the trend in the rates. If not, these pullback in rates from 475 down to 460, even 450, you could still consider that a correction rather than any kind of major reversal. Similar to the dollar, just churning here. This still looks pretty like it still wants to go higher. It just, pullbacks are very shallow. And then, all the one market I've been kind of writing about, I wrote about over the weekend, I think is also poised for possible move higher, which is copper. You can see it just hit the resistance is pulling back. And then oil also in the headlines here with what's happening with in the Middle East with the truce in between Hamas and Israel. That opens up now, and with Trump coming in, the sanctions on Russia and particularly Iran are going to be intensified, and that's part of the reason why I think oil rallied. Whether that obviously comes to fruition, we'll have to see. But oil has been kind of churning here at around the $80 barrel, and this is going to be another interesting market coming up. Nat gas also all over the map. Nat gas March contract, which is the front month contract, going to come up, hit the gap up here in the March futures contract there at 378 and pulled back really hard. And coming into, again, these levels aren't great. I believe we may come down to 330. UNG probably, you're looking at UNG possibly down to 17 with a five, the ultimate breakout on UNG is going to come in around 22. Okay, so other than that, there's nothing else. And then lastly, soybeans, which is another market I wrote about over the last couple of weeks. If you haven't signed up for the newsletter, sign up. There's a link below. Also, I'm also almost full on the class, but I still have some spaces available. So the link below will tell you it's this coming Tuesday. It's at 11 Pacific. It's about strategies I use for the earnings, and obviously we're gonna have a slew of earnings. We've already started with the banks, but we're gonna really get into the meat of the earnings season, also starting next week. So if you're interested in learning something about how we do that, we're in a couple of nice trades as we speak. We're in long calls on EQT, we're long calls on TQQQ, and so on and so forth. So I'll go over some of the stuff we do in the class as well. So go ahead and sign up for that, and then sign up for the newsletter. So I'll see you next Tuesday after the first day of the Trump presidency. It's going to be really interesting. I'm excited about what's happening with the markets. I think we're going to get a ton of volatility and a ton of opportunity. So have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you then. Take care.